Lighthouse Hill. And we enjoy you following our journey as we continue our homesteading endeavors. Today we are going to be seeding some plants, or planting some seeds. And we don't have a greenhouse, so we are going to be doing it in our kitchen. And I've made some modifications to kind of make it a little bit tidier for those of you who don't have kitchens as well. We are modifying how we plant our seeds because we found that when we got seeds out of the big box stores, we got the plants and we would put them in our ground. Our ground is so different from the soil that those plants are potted in. We weren't having a whole lot of luck having them succeed in our garden. So what we've started doing is, for the ones that do succeed, we are saving seeds, and those are some of the seeds that we're going to be planting today. The other thing we're going to do is we've made our own potting soil. And the reason that we've done that is because it is a third, we compost our own worms. A third of it is the compost worm castings. And a third of it is some shredded leaves that we get from a friend. And the other third is actually our soil. So it is completely non-traditional potting soil, but we have found over the years that if something is going to succeed in our garden, we need to do it this way. In our desert climate, our soil is so completely sandy that we have to make sure that it's going to be able to accommodate, or we would spend so much money and time trying to change our soil, and that's not really what we want to do. What we want to do here is we want to grow the things that are going to flourish here. We want to stay as organic as possible. So if something just isn't going to make it in our garden under our conditions, then we move on to something else and we let someone else grow those things that work well for them. Because I don't have a greenhouse, what I do when I'm putting my soil into my cells here, I have just a little tub. Get the lid off of this. And this I use to capture any of the excess soil that falls off. So that way it just helps with the cleanup in the kitchen after we're done. Today we are going to be planting peppers and tomatoes. So we have several varieties. We have a black vernissage, which is a cherry tomato. We have a carbon tomato, which is a large tomato. And then we also have an Amish paste tomato, which we use for cooking. As far as our peppers, we do live in the desert, so peppers do very well here. We have several. We have a red bell pepper. We have a jalapeno, of course. We are trying a dark black bell pepper, which we're very excited about. A pepperoncini, and and also we have some hatch green chilies, seeds hot, that we have left over from last year. We're going to try those. We have 2 more green peppers that we're going to plant, and we have some Tabasco peppers that we're going to try planting. We haven't tried that before, so we're not sure how a lot of these are going to go, but we're going to give it a shot. If they don't work, like I said, we move on, we do something else. I said that we create our own soil. This is the soil that we created some time ago. What you may see is we may have some worms in here from the worm casting, so we'll be putting those back into the worm bin after we're done. But it's really beautiful soil. You know, it's not perfect. We don't have any vermiculite in here. I don't have any coconut coir in here. I don't have any of those types of things. So like I said, we're not going to put these in our garden. We're not going to put that in our garden, so I'm not going to put that in my starter soil. So to get started is pretty easy. The camera wants to kind of come in a little bit, and we will see. I just kind of unceremoniously just kind of dump a bunch of our soil in here. Like I said, don't be freaked out if you see a worm. I've got a little worm growing up here right now, so he'll go back into the composting bin after we're done. There we go. I'm just going to smooth all this in, and because it's composted, we've got some chunks of leaves in here. I'll just put those into the bin and we'll compost those down a little bit more. Got some sticks, we just pull those out, not a big deal. And I'm just gonna move all these into the cells. No muss, no fuss right now. If you get a worm into the cell, it's no problem. It's going to be under a light, it's going to have lots of moisture. He will be very happy. And then he'll go into our garden where he'll be even happier. Just put these in here. Got the big pieces. I do keep the soil moist. You want to make sure your soil is good and moist. If you see, we can, you know, it stays in a clump. You want it that way. If you put seeds into dry soil, it's going to take a lot longer for them to compost. There's a little worm right there. We're just going to put him back. And we're just pushing the soil. We're not compacting down yet. We're just pushing this into the soil. And like I said, everybody has their own technique for planting their seeds. This is just what seems to work for us in this climate. My husband and I are both from Virginia. We both had to completely relearn how to garden when we came out here because a lot of the techniques that we used out there don't work here. A lot of our watering techniques don't work. We have had to change from watering in the day or the morning to watering at night after dark. And so we have all of ours on a timer system because if we water during the day, it just evaporates off. So let me just slide this all in here. Any extra we can just slide into this little bin I've got down here. So after you've got these pretty full, get all the big pieces out. There we go. So now we're just going to kind of compact this dirt down. So I'll put 2 or 3 seeds in each bin. So we're going to start here with the King of the North green pepper. And I'm not going to, we'll do a couple of rows and then I'll let you guys go because the process is going to be the same. So I'm just going to do these first 2 rows. So this is going to be our King of the North. So I just pop a few, if you put 4 in there, it's no big deal. We also, you may be thinking that we're starting our plants a little bit early, and we are. Basically because that's another thing is that we find that the bigger the plants are when we put them in, the better they do in the garden. So we are starting a little bit early. So basically this is just the process. I'll do that for each bin. When we're done, I'll just take some dirt and we'll just sprinkle the dirt over the top. Now I won't push down or anything. I may level it off a little bit. I'm not going to worry about any of that. Okay. And then when we're all finished, so I'll take this out. One of the things, because we are planting our seeds early, they will get big. The other issue that I personally was having was the fact that the little 2-inch domes that you put on these, it wasn't really working for us. We found that the plants were just still so immature by the time they got to the top of that 2-inch dome that it just wasn't working. So what we have actually invested in are actually 7-inch domes. And I like this dome because we can keep our plants in there a lot longer and they can become even more mature. So let me set this aside. And I will show you one that we have going now that has 7. Now this in here has some herbs and some flowers that we have going on. But we've got our primary seeds, but you see, it's still very immature. They're starting to get their secondary leaves, but a lot of them are taller than 2 inches already. So with the 7-inch dome, we can keep these in here a lot longer, really give them the opportunity to get root bound and ready for their next planting. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave us a comment, ask a question. Please visit our page on Facebook, Lighthouse Hill. We have an Etsy site. It's etsy.com/shop/Lighthouse Hill. And please feel free to drop us a line. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.